Alexander Hamilton, the man, the myth, the legend. Obviously, someone like Hamilton must have made some comments about the authority he had at the 1787 Federal Convention. Oh, boy, did he ever. Here we go, answering the $10,000 challenge put out there by Robert Brown of the John Birch Society and proving him wrong again for the 5th time now. Brown has offered to pay $10,000 if anyone can prove him wrong and produce just one quote from one delegate claiming he had authority to propose the Constitution. I'm here to collect yet again. Robert, there's nothing but crickets in my money account, so come on, it's time you show me the money. I think it's evidently clear that the framers understood their authority. Mr. Brown is either completely ignorant of constitutional history or he has been lying from the very beginning, just like all of his information in regard to this subject. Those are his only two options. Admit he was ignorant of these facts or that he lied. It's that simple. The choice is yours, and we are all watching for your answer. Welcome to All Things Article 5, where we dive deep into the Constitution's amending provision to break through all of the misinformation out there and get to the truth. Whether you are an Article 5 advocate like myself, or just simply new to the subject and you want to learn more, this is the place to be. I guarantee you do not want to miss a single episode. Feel free to share this with your friends on Facebook and the YouTube channel. Let's get the word out there. If you spend a few minutes here with us today, you're going to build your understanding of the Constitution in ways most people just haven't. Please subscribe to this channel to make sure you are notified as soon as I drop a new video. So sit back and join me as we learn from the past, get engaged in the present in order to change the future. I have been dying to drop this video. For all my Article 5 peeps out there, this is going to be one you're going to love. This one is just so beautiful because it's Alexander Hamilton, the delegate from the state of New York, which is the second of only 3 states that reference the congressional opinion. In some future episode, I would like to share all that's behind the scenes going on in New York with the political leaders surrounding the Federal Convention and the ratification of the Constitution. It is quite fascinating. But for right now, all I'm going to say is that New York was doing everything it could to block the Constitution from being ratified. This is what makes this one so sweet. Hamilton was a lone wolf, and he was forging on to revise the Confederation, even if everyone else near him was against him. Now, Hamilton served in the Revolutionary War, a delegate to the Congress of the Confederation, senior officer of the United States Army, and the first Secretary of the Treasury for the United States, a major player in the battle for the ratification of the Constitution, joining James Madison and John Jay in writing the Federalist Essays. One of my favorite Federalist papers is number 85 by Hamilton, as he closes out the argument to ratify the Constitution by appealing to the Article 5 Convention as the mechanism to stop the encroachments of a runaway federal government. It's just simply magnificent. So right now, let's get down to business. There is so much gold in these few sentences that I just want you to savor the moment as I read it to you. This is Hamilton speaking at the convention on June 18th as he introduces his plan for a new system of government known by historians as the Hamilton Plan, which went nowhere, but that's okay because in his introduction, that's the grand slam and the moneymaker. Before I begin, I want to just recap and remind everybody why we're doing this. Robert Brown has issued a $10,000 challenge to anyone that can prove that a delegate of the Federal Convention claimed they had the authority to propose the Constitution.
Find me the delegate in the 1787 convention who rose and said, we have the authority in our delegate commissions. I've issued a $10,000 bounty on that quote. No one's offered the money yet. No one's come up and said, hey, pay me. I found the delegate that said we have the authority in our state commissions to create this national form of government because it doesn't exist.
I give you Alexander Hamilton.
Let us now review the powers with which we are invested. We are appointed for the sole and express purpose of revising the Confederation and to alter or amend it, so as to render it effectual for the purposes of a good government. Those who suppose it must be federal lay great stress on the terms sole and express, as if these words intended a confinement to a federal government, when the manifest import is no more than the institution of a good government must be the sole and express object of your deliberations. Nor can we suppose an annihilation of our powers by forming a national government, as many of the states have made in their constitutions no provision for any alteration. And thus much I can say for the state I have the honor to represent, that when our credentials were under consideration in the Senate, some members were for inserting a restriction in the powers to prevent an encroachment on the Constitution. It was answered by others, and thereupon the resolve carried on the credentials that it might abridge some of the constitutional powers of the state, and that possibly in the formation of a new union it would be found necessary. This appears reasonable, and therefore leaves us at liberty to form such a national government as we think best adapted for the good of the whole. I have therefore no difficulty as to the extent of our powers, nor do I feel myself restrained in the exercise of my judgment under them. We can only propose and recommend. The power of ratifying or rejecting is still in the states.
There it is. In one quote, Alexander Hamilton proves that his commission gave him the authority. He references the opinion of Congress about the sole and express purpose. Has nothing to do with the articles. The sole and express purpose, the end, the object is to have a good government for the United States. This is such a winner, and I hope you enjoyed learning that. I found this recently. When I saw this, I was just so excited. So in closing, here are the highlights from Hamilton. Hamilton was a member of the New York delegation. He clearly states that the object of the convention was to propose an institution of a good government. He refers to his commission and how the New York legislature refused to put any restrictions in their commission, allowing for a new union to be proposed that could even abridge their state constitution. He claimed to have full powers to form a national government. He then read an outline of articles to provide his ideas on the system of government for a strong national government that he had been suggested during the convention. Okay, just a reminder, if you've been following this, we have proven that these following delegates knew they had the power and authority to propose the Constitution. We had James Wilson from Pennsylvania, Rufus King from Massachusetts, Charles Pinckney from South Carolina, James Madison from Virginia, and in this episode, Alexander Hamilton from New York. Case closed. All right, my Article 5 friends, you know what to do now. Please share this video far and wide and tag Robert Brown and post Robert Brown owes Ken Quinn $10,000 for proving him wrong. I think I've made my point. I want to thank all of you out there for watching these videos on this series and sharing them far and wide. I think it's time we move on to other things. You know what? Maybe we should do a deep dive into the John Birch Society. I think you will find what I have found very, very interesting. Sound good? Trust me, it's going to be well worth your time. With all things Article 5, I'm Ken Quinn. Remember, experience must be our only guide. Fear will paralyze us. So fear not. Let's have some fun, and the truth will prevail. Till next time.